I'm going to switch over to a little bit more of a somber note because I can't ignore what's going on in this world right now. Tonight, actually, it's my night here in LA, was the memorial of George Floyd, as we all know, who got murdered last week. And I'm going to direct this question first to Abhay, only because, Abhay, you have lived here long enough. You lived in New York, you lived in LA. When you first heard about this, what were the thoughts?
I wasn't surprised. When I saw the video, it was one of many. I went to college in LA too. I just remember as a student in LA, the African American kids that I knew, I remember one of them who was a good friend at the time, I lost touch with him, saying that the cops do this, the cops do that, blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking, and I was young, I was like 19, thinking, I can't believe that they'd be that bad. Like, I think that the community must, also be aggressive at a certain level to provoke the police into doing what they do. I remember having that thought, which is such a privileged, uninformed position to come in from. And so, of course, now for many years, these videos have been coming out. So I just remember, 10 years ago when I saw the first video or so, police brutality against Black people, I remembered my friend's words. This is what they do. And I remember thinking as a kid, it was hard to believe that it was on such a level. I'm sure there must have been some amount of racism, but not to this level as he was describing. And this I'm talking about the mid-90s when I was a student over there. So I'm not surprised. I know that this has been systemic and sustained over a long period of time. The difference is now we have cameras. That's all it is. And I'm also, unfortunately, not surprised that the four of them have been charged after such huge protests and huge numbers that came out. Without those, I don't think these guys would have gotten off on such a heavy sentence. So there's a long way to go. And of course, one can compare these systemic problems in the US to India as well, where there are differences of culture and politics, but it's one and the same thing on many levels.
And speaking of the similarities in culture and what the systemic problems are in USA and India, what would you do to start a dialogue, a difficult dialogue? Because unfortunately, a lot of South Asians are racist as well.
Do exactly that, is start a dialogue. And so you just have to be meticulous in what that dialogue is, with whom is it, and where is it being showcased. Because that will define how far and where and to whom it will go. So it's important to start having dialogue, because if you notice some of the same tropes that perhaps the racists and the right wing would use in America, you'd be maybe surprised or not surprised that the same kind of racist, casteist, right wings, people, individuals in India use the same exact tropes. If you compare caste with class or caste with racism, if you talk about reservation, the white people who say, well, Black people have all these reservations, they do that, right? There is this thing about equality and, okay, you're just being pushed because you're a person of color. The same dialogue is repeated for Dalits in India, that, Dalits actually have made success. They looked as Dalits politicians. So just, they use the few to kind of discredit the whole. So it's in an age of disinformation, it becomes more difficult to make your point. So the only way forward is dialogue. So you talk to somebody from the extreme right and the extreme left, because there are lots of people who fall for that narrative. We have to find a middle path. Find that middle path. You have to engage those you hate as much as those you love. You have to engage both, unfortunately, I think.
And how do you suggest we as a South Asian community be a better ally for the Black community, not just short term, long term?
I don't know if I guess we're better allied simply because we're also people of color, and there's an element of racism that we face too. I don't think we face the same levels of it as Black people do, because the Asian community is probably as racist, if not more so, than the white community. So they need to take a check on themselves and maybe finding out the things that are common between the two, like the fact that we're both people of color. That's a great place to start, because there will obviously be similarities in our experience in this world, in the US, let's say. But outside of that, we're very different. we have our privileges. Like, I understand white privilege because I am the white privileged male in my country, from the way I look, for the color of my skin, and all of that, the same exact thing. And that's how I understand white privilege. So there's this hypocrisy, you know. They will applaud the celebrities who are black, but they won't probably have someone black come to their home. In India, the celebrities will support the Black Lives Movement, but yet they'll take a paycheck from whitening cream companies. Whitening cream companies, I mean, like L'Oreal and Olay, which will fight racism abroad, will propagate it in our country. So it's a murky mess, and we have to call them out in a way that makes them see their responsibility, but doesn't necessarily persecute them. I don't want to persecute these brands and these celebrities, but I want them to take notice and make change. I'm not saying don't survive. I'm saying survive, but, you know, inspire others to move in a certain direction.
Very well said. And Yashaswini, I would love to get your viewpoint from a younger point of view. What do you think your peers are thinking about this incident? I'd love to know what they're thinking. What are they saying? What is the general rhetoric?
From what I can see on my social media, a lot of it is, like, obviously everyone understands what's happening in the United States, but everyone's also very upset that when India needed that kind of support from its citizens, like, we didn't stand up as loudly, we didn't stand up together. We did have, like, the first couple of months of this year, we had massive protests against the CAA, and things were starting to look up because our generation, which is supposed to be the woke generation, and like I'm also sort of part of the problem because I know that this is right and this is wrong. It's not as black and white, but like I know I have my opinions, but I'm not going to go out and force it on somebody, on my family, because everyone has the right to their opinion, but it's about time that it's not enforcing, but like you said, it's about just starting a dialogue, and just to get that 1% of open-mindedness from the other side, or even our side. It's just about finding a way to just meet in the middle in some way, because it's only getting messier and messier every single day, every part of the world.
What are your thoughts, Karan?
No, I mean, like Abhay and Yashaswini said, I mean, since the beginning of this year, it's been the revolution started. The revolution has been going on since decades now, but I think it just propagated at the start of this year in India, and now it's happening in the States. And I just hope that it leads somewhere, to a place where there are stricter laws and there are stricter, means to kind of make sure that such inequalities don't exist in the society. I just hope that this is not that case where everyone talks about it and forgets about it. It's really important that, there are practical measures that are taken, and, things are changed literally in the way they should have been changed years ago, and so that such things don't happen in the future. So I think the next, say, 6 to 8 months are going to be really crucial for not just India or the States, but the entire humankind in the direction that we're going in. And I just hope that we come out of it stronger and better as human beings than probably being hypocrites or bigots, in the way we just do things.
Any closing thoughts, Abhay?
Any closing thoughts? Well, I guess I'm sitting here with my cast, so I'd like to stick to the fact that, I've been taking strides into production, and I love it when I have a crew and a team and a cast that is here for the right reasons. They worked hard, they put in their best, they have talent, and that just made production worth it. So I suppose I would leave you with the thought that it's important that when you create something, that you work together with the people around you. There are no hierarchies, and and especially in a creative field, it's important to sort of let the other person come across and shine. And I've learned so much from them too. So I hope I keep learning and keep making.
Well, I just want to say something, Abhay. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for some years. And one of the things that I've always admired about you, how not only intelligent you are, how humble you are, and how you think out of the box. So keep on that good work.
Thank you. Stay safe, yeah, over there. And
Yeah,
it
you
has-
guys stay safe, and everybody needs to watch this film. It's a sweet film, and it'll take your mind off all this stress.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't like her.
You think you walk in here, tell me what to do?